Hey guys, what's up? Spectre here. And as we barrel towards release, more and more news is starting to flood the net, but I've rounded up all the latest headlines and boiled them down just for you. Today I'll be discussing the next Night City Wire, which has a more concrete date, some speculation about overall game size, deeper looks at some main characters, and some clarification on a recent microtransaction-related issue. Let's jump in. We already know that Cyberpunk is set to be a massive game, and its amount of voice work has confirmed that yet again. Apparently the game will feature 15 to 20% more voice lines than The Witcher 3, including all DLC add-ons. In a recent tweet, Daniel Ahmad, a video game analyst, showed us some of the Chinese localization voice actors in the studio, an effort being carried out by over 150 voice actors, 100,000 lines, and 10,000 hours spread across 4 different recording studios. Interestingly enough, according to GameSpot, Cyberpunk won't be getting an official release in China, but will be available through Steam for the Chinese market. All that aside, I have to appreciate the extensive effort that's gone into the voice work alone, especially as someone who's currently sweating in a recording booth. This just proves how massive this game will be, and I'm ever more excited by that. You can also expect localization in German, Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, Polish, Hungarian, Turkish, Japanese, Czech, Arabic, Thai, and Korean. In my last news roundup, I reported on the next Night City Wire and when we might see it. But now we have a definite date, September 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern. In this next Night City Wire, we'll be getting a more in-depth look at Night City itself, as well as an update on its many gangs. Apparently, we'll also be getting another look at the creation of the game's musical score. While this wasn't exactly what I was expecting, I'm always up for more looks at Night City itself, as well as some shiny new footage for use in upcoming videos. So mark your calendar for your next look at the game, and it's also worth noting that we may only have one more wire, with only October now standing between us and that November release date. Speaking of sneak peeks, however, we recently got a detailed look at Lizzie Wizzy, an in-game pop sensation, who's famous for her extreme body modification. She graced the cover of Cyber magazine recently. The countdown to Cyberpunk 2077's November 19th release date, in this animated cover we can get a more detailed look at her, a character we've seen in concept art as well as early trailers. Voiced by real-world artist Grimes, she's a singer who took her life on stage and was saved by her extreme implants. Perhaps she'll be at the center of the next Night City Wire's musical score segment. However, we'll have to wait just a little bit longer to see if that's the case, but this timing sure lines up well. And finally, microtransactions. They've been making headlines recently, specifically the prospect of microtransactions in Cyberpunk 2077, the single-player game launching on November 19th, all of which is simply untrue. Cyberpunk 2077, this specific game, will not have microtransactions. This game will follow The Witcher's DLC formula, with free small updates and then paid large expansions. I've been reporting on this for quite a while now, and CD Projekt has not changed their position on this once. Now, Cyberpunk's multiplayer component, an experience that is not on the disc, that is completely separate, being worked on by a different part of the team, that won't even be shipping until a year or more after November 19th, will have microtransactions. This experience, one that's new for CD Projekt outside of Gwent, will most likely be funded through microtransactions. They've received help in the past from the studio behind Dying Light's multiplayer, another studio out of Poland. Given CD Projekt's track record for consumer friendliness, even a track record shared by the folks they're working with, I'd say you have nothing to fear. In a recent earnings call, it was mentioned that microtransactions would be present in multiplayer, but would not upset gamers. And given all the goodwill that most people have towards CD Projekt, I think that they know that they shouldn't waste such a valuable resource, especially in an increasingly predatory industry. It's also worth noting that CD Projekt has received sizable amounts of money from the Polish government in order to create innovative multiplayer tech, and I'm sure they need to make good on that investment. But that's it for this Cyberpunk news update. If you haven't, check out some of my recent lore dives into the world of Cyberpunk. In my most recent video, I cover netrunning, and before that, I took a look at car culture in Night City, as well as some of the weapons that you might be toting yourself once you're in-game. Make sure you're subbed so you don't miss out on any more high-quality Cyberpunk content, and don't be afraid to hit that notification bell. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.